Action.
Most Americans have no idea where Sudan is, much less Darfur, yet they know violence and genocide have been going on there for years. Thousands of young children are starving and brought into the armies and mutilated. But what can the U.S. and other nations do? Peace talks continue, but the UN and other leading nations are deadlocked on what to do, how to proceed, how to punish war criminals, and how to stop the genocide and civil war. Yet the war goes on. The U.S. has brought in peacekeepers and humanitarian aid, but not committed troops to this ravaged land. We struggle, and we just don't know what to do.
Looks like just a bunch of symbols, doesn't it? Things that we see every day on the internet. But put together, they caused almost a revolution, one that's still going on. It all started with Facebook, where a man by the name of Wael Ghonin, a former Google executive, created a Facebook page about Khalid Said, an Egyptian boy who died protesting. That led to even further demonstrations against the Egyptian government. This Egyptian government that we currently fund in the U.S. and are working towards looking at our funding to see if we need to continue funding them. That is our response in the United States.
In 2011, an earthquake created a tsunami in Japan, resulting in damages to the Fukushima nuclear power plant. The United States did several things to intervene, such as:
we first of all urged all of our citizens within a 50-mile radius to evacuate. Other countries made that mandatory, so we just encouraged ours. The next thing that we did was hire a recruitment firm. Actually, they were from Massachusetts, Bartlett Nuclear, to assemble a team and go to Japan. The things that we did there, we had Navy barges deliver fresh water to cool down the facility. We gave robotic devices to go in at a point where human beings could not survive and take samples. We also did daily flyovers to analyze air quality and take samples. Continuing, we gave almost $80 million in humanitarian aid, and we also got together with the G7 nations to help support their yen and keep that from collapsing. And we also continued in this process trying to avoid what happened in Chernobyl. That was really the guiding factor. We have seen what happened there, and nations around the world also worked with Japan and the United States to avoid that tragedy.
The question for Table 2, how has the U.S. intervened in the Greek economic crisis? Let's introduce the players. First, there's the United States. We are famous for apple pie, baseball, and hot dogs. Our other player is Greece. They are famous for democracy, toga parties, and the Parthenon. Here's the problem. What we need is money. How much money and for who? There's the euro, which used to be the drachma, and they don't have enough of them. How much do they need? $117 billion. If the U.S. does not help them get this, they will crash and burn. U.S. aid will help bail out and put out the fire in the Greek economic crisis. Here are our sources. Source number 1. Source number 2. And source number 3. The end.
Syria, anti-government protesters printing graffiti on the walls for put down by very heavy-handed punishment. Protests spread across the country, leading to more and more genocide within that country by President Assad. Student protesters, the U.S., the League of Arab Nations, all are involved in trying to stop the genocide within Syria. How has the U.S. intervened? We have frozen the assets of Syria, which has hurt their lucrative energy sector, but mainly it has been verbal protest. Putting down the Syrian actions, but realizing that they have led to more inhumane treatment. There has been no military intervention at this point.
How can you defend U.S. foreign policy?
U.S. foreign policy is designed to improve relationships with other countries with the underwriting goal of protecting U.S. national security and advancing causes of liberty.
How do you plan to meet these goals?
My administration will meet with G8 leaders to address major global economic, political, and security challenges including energy and climate change, food security and nutrition.
What about Al-Qaeda?
How has the U.S. government employed drone technology internationally?